Welcome into TFW Live, the best kept secret in fantasy football, where we keep that week one feeling going all year long. This is episode 342. We're going to be watching the Baltimore Ravens face off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this fantasy football watch party. As you may well know, I am Big Travie, and I am joined by one of my best friends in the entire world, Austin Sear, and our producer extraordinaire, Donnie Tubbs. Welcome in, gentlemen. Also, a big welcome to Whisper Nation, all those in the chat right now, Albert, Strodenite, and all of you that will be joining later as well. We got a lot of gratitude for our members on YouTube as well who support the show through a monthly subscription. Got to give them a shout out here. Gus Ramos, Pizza Belly, Don Caples, Bailey Ziegler, Kevin Davey, Nick, Brett Zabo, John Credit, Eric Lorenzen, Donnie Tubbs, Jersey J, and The Hanimal. If you want to join that growing list of YouTube members, click join next to the video right now. And if you love fantasy football content and you want to join a community where you know you belong, hit subscribe on the YouTube button or on the YouTube channel with the subscribe button. And we are trying to get just one more subscriber on this stream, just one more, and it could be you. And if you're new, if you're old, if you're anywhere in between, let us know where you're streaming from. We'd love to shout you out right here on the show. Boys, we are about to hop into this thing as we do on our watch parties and try to make a little bit of Skrilla, try to make a little bit of greenback here. Make some money off Underdog Fantasy. We know Underdog Fantasy is, it's not just about the best ball for Underdog Fantasy. You can do the pick'ems as we do every single watch party. You can do the rivals. You can actually do some of the battle royales and draft as if you were doing daily as well. Sunday, Monday, Thursday, all the actions there for you. Just go to the App Store, download the Underdog Fantasy app, and use the promo code TFW for up to $100 in match deposit money. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code TFW for up to $100 in matched money. Austin, Donnie, we were talking about this show on this game a little bit off air, and a lot of banged up players, as is normal for these Thursday nights. Trying to patchwork some things together to get a team to play on Thursday night. When you looked at the schedule, you thought this game could be a good one. I think the optimist in us wants it to be a good one, but looking at all these injuries, maybe not so much, maybe a sluggish game. Austin, I'll start with you. What are you looking for in tonight's contest as we try to build this slip out?
Who steps up is the biggest question, because you point to two realities. It is Thursday night. Players haven't had a lot of time to heal. These two teams, regardless of Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, day that ends in Y, these teams are hurt. They are leaving their stars off the practice field. We just talked about Mark Andrews being absent from practice all week. Then Julio Jones on the Tampa Bay Bucs side, like, he's coming back. I don't know. People in your league are probably adding him because people dropped him as they should have. So it's just this weird thing of, like, are you going to get your studs to play well, productively for your fantasy squad and your underdog bet slip? And then what about, like, these guys we haven't heard a lot from in the last couple of weeks or this entire season? Like Julio Jones, are you going to be the man that Tom Brady looks to? We know Gage is hurt. We know Evans and Godwin have been banged up. It's so difficult right now to give a real read on the health of these players because, like, they are always banged up, and it's Thursday, and these two teams are probably not in the position the NFL was hoping that they would be when they scheduled this primetime game whenever they did that.
It feels like a blanket statement you could say about all these games when they're like, they're not in the right shape to be playing this game on Thursday, as we've seen now multiple times. Donnie, on the Baltimore side of things, Austin covered some of those banged up injuries for the wide receivers over in Tampa Bay. Rashad Bateman coming back here, getting a full practice yesterday, but still dealing with the foot injury that kept him out multiple games. We've seen a very up and down season out of Bateman. What are you expecting out of him tonight with a banged up secondary in Tampa Bay? A lot, I can tell.
I am back, I think. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, I'm trying to keep positivity in my life, Life is, stressful. It's a trek. It's a journey. So I want this game to be fantastic. And I want Bateman,
brother.
I want Bateman to come back. I want him to ball out. I want 100 yards, 5 receptions.
Don't we all, dude? Don't we all?
I want Mark Andrews to be healthy. I know he's officially active. He has that knee injury. I want him to get fucking like 11 receptions. I just want this to be a blowout, amazing game. I want us to fucking just want to stay here the full game. I don't even want to be here after. I want to be all 4 quarters watching a masterpiece. That's what I want.
All right. Well, it's time to get into that bet slip, Austin. Why don't we pull this thing up and take a look at what we've got rocking and rolling here? While Austin brings that up, Stro tonight asking, gents, quick question. Would you trade Pollard for Godwin in half-point PPR?
I am really excited to see what Pollard sans Ezekiel Elliott is about. Right. I haven't everyone like Godwin's been this hype piece, I feel, all season. It's like pick him up, he's a sleeper, but he's recovering from his knee injury and he's not expected to be back. But when he comes back,
buy low, yeah.
There's been so much freaking buy low. It's like, when is this guy's value, Chris Godwin's gonna actually elevate? I think this whole Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is kind of fucked, and I don't know when he's going to be the savior for them or you. I think Pollard, though, is in for a really good opportunity. He, on the other hand, has been someone who has been able to get things done with the opportunities given. And don't sleep on these Cowboys, man. This offense isn't good, but this defense is, and the whole team is actually going all right, which I think that is going to provide some juice for Tony Pollard. Yeah,
could the Zeke injury actually force Jerry's hand and we get more Pollard on a team that actually, can use that to complement the defense? So we'll see what happens there. I'm with you guys. I think I'm holding on to Pollard and see what happens there.
Yeah.
All right. So Donnie getting me hyped with the optimism here, but it always plays on my heartstrings when it goes a little optimistic. I have the Lamar Andrews stack in so many leagues, so I don't really want to let my bias sink in there as we try to build this out. I was kind of more privy to the unders, at least on the Tampa Bay side. Baltimore coming in, I think, around 5-point favorites in this game. Tampa Bay really not looking that great. Losses to Carolina, losses to Pittsburgh. But maybe, I don't know. Is there a world where they turn this around in prime time, or do we kind of think it's more of the same?
I think we see Thursday action as it has been, that theme of downtrodden, less crisp than could be football on display. Dave Kluge hit us with that analysis week 1 on Thursday, and it's rang pretty true, or more true than not. Both of these teams are banged up, especially the Buccaneers did not demonstrate impressive football. And there's a lot of variables we could point to on the Buccaneers side of why they're not demonstrating championship caliber football. New head coach for this squad, at least. Tom Brady is looking like a different Tom Brady. His whole home life is up in the air. That is a real thing. Get your home life right before you move out into the world. His is not right for maybe the first time in his playing career. His wide receivers are banged up. The O-line isn't as good. Why? I want to be hopeful too. But at the same time, I got to balance that hope within realistic outcomes and variables. And it's always probability. And there's a probability that something will go freaking awesome. But I think it will be probably on the less crisp side of football.
Yeah, I'm with that. And, they have all these weapons and everyone's so excited about their weapons. But really, their strongest part of their team has been their O-line and D-line when they've been successful. And we saw last week, the Panthers just obliterate that D-line. They had nobodies rushing all over them, and then their offensive line is blocking people with their asses instead of their fronts. So I don't know what's going on both those lines, but it's gonna. I'm staying positive.
I like that run game take here too, man. Kind of like that. And really quick, I see a lot of the comments coming up in the chat. It's awesome to have y'all with us here. Bronco Plays, Don, Scott. Stro tonight mentioned earlier. We're going to get to your questions, but we do want to make sure we get in our bet slip before that locks at, is it 5:10 or 5:15?
15. So we've got about 18 minutes here.
Okay. Quick question though, because Don is dealing with a situation that's time sensitive for today. Gus Edwards or Zay Jones for the flex? Zay Jones is looking healthier for the Jaguars, but it's Zay Jones. Gus Edwards had a great week last week, but he is still banged up. That knee's not 100%. What do we think?
I'm going Gus Edwards here. Okay. Zay Jones probably likely to line up against Patrick Surtain in London, and Surtain has just been deleting wide receivers. So I would go with Gus Edwards, even though it's not pretty. We don't, we're not like banging the table for Gus Edwards as a mega start, but I do think the matchup's fine enough based on what Carolina did. And what if the Gus Edwards thing is more of a maintenance thing than the other guys? Because he did just come back from the injury, right? And he came right in and got the workload. And then they're like, hey, look, we don't need to have you practice a ton. We know you're good. So I think Gus is...
J.K. Dobbins came in and had 2 tutties in his first game, and now he's
we have the PTSD because Dobbins is like, oh, my knee tightened up. Oh, my knee. And then he's gone, So I agree. I'm there, but I'm definitely going with Gus.
You're going Gus. What about you, Donnie?
I think so. I think I'd roll Gus. Zay's been actually pretty consistent, around 10 points PPR. I mean, it's pretty good, but that didn't, Denver's offense is horrible, but that defense is still pretty legit. It scares me a little more than the Tampa Bay defense right now, so I'd probably go Gus as well.
You got 2 for Gus. I, Don, am going to be the counter voice. I'm going to say Zay Jones. This is based on no numbers. This is based on a magic 8 ball, and I'm just feeling the Jags. I've got some mojo connection right now. I've been pulling for T-Law on my league of record. I've been connected to James Robinson for a long time. His departure is actually kind of a weird thing, touching me in the right ways. I'm big on ETN. I like Christian Kirk. I'm feeling it. Zay all day.
Right
for me,
thing
baby.
touching you in the weird ways.
Yeah, and it's we'll digest how that feels in therapy down the road. But looking over here, so guys, we'll get to all your questions. What's up, Ronald? Gus for Lenny. Because it is time sensitive.
Gus or Lenny?
You're talking about Leonard Fournette feeling so disengaged from this team. He's throwing out ass blocks for pass blocks. Literally,
the problem with Lenny is he could suck all day long, but he gets so many touches in all the high value ones. Like he's getting when they decide to throw to the backs, he's getting all those. I'd go with Leonard Fournette here over Gus.
Yeah, I would too.
I wouldn't feel great about either, but
I agree with Ron here. Don't get cute. It's one of those
yeah.
Maybe it's one of the games where he targets him 12 times.
This is another one here. Tua or Brady, 6-point passing touchdown scoring. Tua going up against Detroit. Really nice point total. Okay. That's where we're going with that. Anybody else have any? Oh, Lamar or Tua? I'm going Lamar still here.
Lamar, yeah, you can't not.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Lamb, Godwin, and Lockett. We got to pick 2. Are you playing? I'm playing CeeDee Lamb. Would you go Lockett or Godwin here?
Lockett.
I mean, Lockett, right? With DK potentially out.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I like Lockett on this.
All right, cool. Those are the time-sensitive ones. We've got some time-sensitive issues here. We've got to get a bed slip in.
So I think
we're on a heater right now, so we've got to get it rolling.
We're going. I think we liked the rushing yards for Lamar, right? Is that what we were talking about, or maybe the attempts? What do you guys think?
Travi liked the attempts, and then we kind of talked about the stats, and we had
I might kind of get a little nasty here. I might like the interception for Lamar. So he has an interception in 5 of 7 games. So
let's put that on our dirty bird slip.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm with you. But I know your dirty bird tendencies, you fucking degenerate. Like, well, I want to go. We gotta go on the rush.
All right. I'll shut up.
And I don't hate it.
Shut up.
I'm actually
I'll shut up. I'll back away a little bit. Let you guys kind of work through this. And then I want to come in later. Just give me started, and then you guys are the openers. I'll close it.
All right. So I think that these weapons for the Ravens are banged up. I don't think that Lamar is going to be able to rely as much on the familiar faces he has this season and in years past. Mark Andrews, he only had like 2 catches last week. He didn't practice all week this week. We like Rashad Bateman to be that new Marquise Brown option for the number 1. He did the first couple weeks of the season, then he kind of backed away. What I'm getting at is I don't have a ton of confidence in any of these pass catching options for Lamar. What I have confidence in is his feet. And I think this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team has shown an ability to give up rushing yards. And Lamar Jackson will take rushing yards as he pleases. We've seen as his career unfolds. I'm in on the 63.5 rushing yards. I kind of like the 10.5 rushing attempts too, but it's simply what's like for the scream of the stream. Like, I like watching him get going. Let's see him break one. Let's go. He could get this all done in one play. It's kind of a toss up for me between rushing attempts and yards, but I think yards are just more fun to root for.
Agreed.
I agree with the yards. The last 6 games he's played in, he has hit the under twice, but those times he hit the under, 58 and 59, so he's not far off.
Really?
I think that's the right play here. The rushing attempts could get a little dirty. 2 weeks ago, he took 7 carries for 77 yards. Like, that's what's possible with Lamar. So I think
that's the kind of
yards
game I'm thinking of on this one. So, okay, we like this. We got this in there. Gus Edwards. We just talked a lot about how he's probably the number 1, but he's banged up. We got a little PTSD from seeing J.K. Dobbins return from long-term recovery, have a good game, and then basically fade out. Could happen. We don't think it's the same situation, but it's in the back of our minds. Anything jumping out to you here, or is it a gray area bet that we would best be just moving on from to see what else we like?
I'd move on for now. It's pretty grayish to me.
Okay. We might come back. Kenyon Drake. Is it even grayer?
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to mess with the
I like Lamar's rushing. The other ones all scare me.
Okay, so moving on then to Rashad Bateman. 4 receptions, 48.5 yards. What was the most receptions he got?
I think 4.
Right
I don't
now.
know. Not much.
So he had
I
his.
don't know if he got 7 catches this season.
He's got 2, 4, 2, and 3, and 4.
So he's never gotten 5.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. So the under for the dirty one might be nice.
That's just 3.
Yeah.
That's
That's too dirty for me.
That's terrible.
A little bit of and this might get a little. Might be too sicko for you guys. Is the Devin Duvernay over the 36 receiving yards? If Andrews and Bateman are banged up, Duvernay could be definitely an option for them through the passing game. He's hit that over 5 out of 7 games. Including. Let me look at the games that Bateman was out here.
He did it 3 of the last 4 games.
Yeah, so I think, I'm kind of in on the Duvernay one as kind of a con. Like if we're too, because it feels like when we get to these guys like Bateman and Edwards, we're like, I don't know.
Right.
I think Duvernay's the one healthy body there, and 36.5 receiving yards. He can get that. He's got the speed to get it in one play, but he's also just kind of gotten it in the schemed up touches he's got.
He might be in that role to be getting fed this. What do you think, Donnie?
I like it. I was leaning a little more on the Mark Andrews receptions, but the injuries do make a play, and I just looked at Duvernay stats, and I think Travi makes a great point. It looks good to me.
I'm
a little nervous on it, but I can't deny.
I'm also
the logic
in on the Andrews receptions too, but again, I have Andrews in like 4 leagues, and I don't want to let that blind me. But I do think that if he's going, it's a good bet to bet on studs, especially against Tampa Bay, who's been bad against tight ends and receivers lately. So
I like this higher here on the receptions too.
Yeah, I think just pound it.
Okay.
Pound it.
We'll put that in there for now. Keep your fingers crossed for health. We'll see. It's like Mark Andrews is not on the field for the first play of the offense.
Oh my god, dude! Well, it's like last week he got close to. He was held on a touchdown that he didn't, on a post route, and then they had him taking a handoff and handing it to Lamar. He snapped it as the quarterback
play to the left.
Yeah. That's kind of weird.
All right, well, we'll keep that one in there for now, and if we see something we like more, that's the first one off. So we got Tom Brady here, 39.5 pass attempts, 288.5 yards.
I like the attempts. He's been over it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. He's been over it.
Their run game does not look awesome right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like this?
I like it a lot.
I'm with it.
It's just a pass attempts, too. It doesn't have to complete it. All right.
Brady's going to want to throw on prime time.
Yeah, he's going to it's going to be trying to be
especially with the Giselle shit coming out. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll show you.
Like so Leonard Fournette, this is a big gray area for me because these numbers aren't.
TD's kind of juicy.
Yeah.
A little bit.
There's no rushing attempts. That's what I would really like is some Fournette rushing attempts.
There it is.
I know they're going to give him work.
13.5. Right in the middle.
How's he done on that? I know he'll get work, right? He should get work. So he's had 8 last week, 21, 14, 3, 12. I mean, maybe it's not as good as I like.
Howard White.
We have 8 minutes.
So. Yeah. This isn't horrible, but I mean, what do we think on the reception side? Is there anything? We only got room for one more ad. So it doesn't need to be one of these guys.
I mean, we won on Monday just doing 4. So if we can't find one, we can just lock in 4.
White only had the 1 reception last week, but he had 3 weeks in a row of hitting 3, 3, and 5. So he has increased snaps if we wanted to go a little risky with the Rashad White. Yeah, that one's not a bad one.
Let's see what else we just got on this. Godwin, Evans, Kate Otten, Julio Jones. Field goals are kind of interesting. I could see them kicking a couple field goals. That's all I got to do is hit 2.
Yeah.
Julio, I kind of like it, but I'm super nervous on a guy that hasn't done anything all year.
Right.
Agreed.
Do we want to go ahead and just lock this 4 in like Donnie recommended for now?
I'm good with that.
All right. Yep. Let's get this one in there.
One
bet slip. Submitting.
Really quickly, Fleabit Peanut Monkey is saying Gus, Foreman, or Lenny. I think Lenny is the start.
Yeah,
me too.
Agreed.
Foreman, though, is not a bad ad. He looked
No.
good. He looked good last year. There's some life over in Carolina. Chuba Hubbard is banged up.
Probably going to be out. Yeah, well, I would imagine he's out based on 2 missed practices.
I kind of like Foreman.
Yeah,
I think
Who
there's
are
a
they playing?
likeness.
Falcons too. Yeah.
I don't even care. People tell me that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers run
That's
defense
true.
used to be good. Just fucking
That's
donked
true.
all over them. So I don't care. I'm going Deontay Foreman. But that's just one of 3 voices.
I bet you he uses his front side to do pass blocking. I bet you that.
I bet he does too. That's good.
I bet he does that. That's one of the my favorite things I saw on Twitter this week, other than the pop, lock, and drop for Jesus guy.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Jesus
So we've got-
Christ.
So
Okay.
let's take a look at some rival bets. Gus Edwards, 17.5 more rush yards. I can't go off. I can't get behind that. Extra points made. Just like these 2 freaking.
I take Tucker. I like
I don't
Tucker's
mind
side of that.
I don't mind that. What do
Or
you think,
field
Donnie?
goals. I think which
Yeah.
I wish it was fantasy points.
yeah. I'd take Tucker on the extra points, but I don't
What do you think,
Yeah, I like
Donnie?
that too. I think we all think the Ravens are going to win this game. Yeah.
I think they're going to score more touchdowns.
I think so.
Cool. I like this. I like this rival one. So we're gonna move on from the field goals, then completions. 6.5 bump for Lamar. I don't love this
That's
one.
not, yeah.
70 passing yards bumping.
The problem with his Lamar is he has all these sub 200 games, like because he just gets.
You're right.
done-
Let's just stay away from it.
Yeah.
It's crap. Passing touchdowns. I'm not. 10 passing attempts more. No, we still can't go with it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Rushing yards, almost like Lamar Jackson.
I was
over
thinking
Lenny,
that
but-
too.
Can't do it. It's not obvious.
Maybe.
Rushing attempts, rushing and receiving tutties.
I'd take.
I wish they
Mike-
gave one of these.
Oh man.
I wish they gave him a half a bump,
Yeah.
and then I would be all
Yeah.
over it.
This is a hard game, dude.
It is.
It's a really tough.
There's one coming up. I kind of like. I think it's soon. It's Bateman versus Godwin. It's the next one.
Ooh.
I kinda like it.
A
Because
little bit of
Bateman
a
has
bump
that
there.
home ability.
22
He
and a
already
half.
has a 25.5 bump.
I could be talked into that. Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm in.
A little juicy.
Okay. So we can't vote on another Bateman one because I like that one. Rushing and receiving yards, 18 and a half. Mike Evans can just take the top off. He's
Yeah.
good. I don't love it.
I think he's still pissed about that drop down the middle last week too.
Might be. Receiving yards, 42 and a half over. That's kind of nice.
Oh God.
That's kind of nice.
I like
Because how many
those.
yards has Chris Godwin had the last couple of weeks?
I think Godwin's been okay. He just hasn't really gone nuclear.
59,
So,
61, 95, 43.
Does Kate Otten offer any reliability?
well, we've got Cameron Braid out, and so a lot of people are on Kate Otten this week. I could go with that. We're
Yeah,
already
20
like we might as well.
Yeah.
We're already in on like anti-Godwin kind of thing.
Oh, we can't do it because we already
we
chose.
have-
Yeah, we already chose Bateman versus Godwin.
Okay.
We have 3 minutes, or probably 2.5 minutes to lock it in.
Okay.
Can't
So we could do
that one.
these receiving yards, 45 and a half.
Can't do that one with
Over
Godwin.
God, we
Right?
can't do that one.
No Godwins.
Oh, yeah, no Godwin. Okay.
We do this Fournette, Mike Evans receiving yards. I still like Mike Evans, to be
I
honest.
still kind of like Mike.
That's a big bump.
Has Mike Evans given us any reason to think he might not do well?
I don't think so. I
I
mean,
don't think so
96, 42, 81, 103 in his last 4. I mean, those are some pretty.
Should we just go ahead and lock this two-parter in for our $15 slip?
Yeah.
Is there any other ones that we kind of like that we're on the fence with?
I don't think so.
We want to start at the top again, see if there's anything.
Yeah, we have
Or
a minute
just
and
One
a half.
last look.
Yeah.
All
We'll
right.
just lock it in.
I almost like the Lamar Jackson over Gus Edwards on these rush yards.
Do it. I mean,
What do
we're
you
in
think?
on the other slip in Lamar to be like the generation of their offense this week.
Yeah.
Gus had his
All
day
right.
last week. Let's see if we get a Lamar primetime night.
You okay with that, Donnie?
I like it.
All right, there we go. We're locking it in. Oh no, we got too much love for the. We got to pick somebody on the Buccaneers side. I'm gonna jump over to the higher lowers, and we'll just pick a player that we like from Tampa Bay. How about that?
Okay,
that'll suffice.
Just lock it in.
Anything we liked?
The pass attempts for Tom Brady again, or
do we want to do lower on Lenny? Is that fucked up?
Do it lower than the total rushing and receiving. Fine.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Oh my God. Woo. I think we got it in, man. That was like at the buzzer, dude.
Did we get that one in there?
Yeah.
The kickoff.
All right. We got them. We got our 4 picks. And our 4 picks, we might be making $100 today.
Hell yeah. We won on Monday. Let's win again.
Going above 30. We're getting 37 yards or more through the air for Devin Duvernay. We're getting more than 40 pass attempts out of Tom Brady.
Easy.
We've got 5 receptions coming Mark Andrews' way. Maybe more. Who
First
knows?
drive.
We'll see. Could be
First
you.
drive.
Lamar Jackson, 63.5 rushing yard. Let's go. And then on the other side, under Leonard Fournette, 84.5 combined yardage. We think that ass blocking is going to have his ass on the bench.
Let's go, dude. I hope
Rushing
it's the Rashad White takeover tonight.
Yeah,
So
right. I'm down with that.
Let's go.
Lamar Jackson, we like him despite the 17.5 yard bump for Gus. Taking Justin Tucker's extra points. We think that Baltimore is going to score more tutties. Receiving yards, we're taking that bump on Bateman. I like this one a lot. And watch that one gets blown up right away. There we go.
Oh, I hope not.
I like it.
Oh, man.
All right. That was fun. Wait, let's see. What's up, Jersey J?
Trade Walker for Higgins and Andrews. Ooh.
No. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because these other guys are way banged up. Like there's
Yeah.
I'm a big Walker talker, so I'll back off on that.
Talker.
Back off on that.
Higgins gets a big bump with the chase stuff, but I also don't know how much of a big bump it is. I was trying to process this because I got a few offers in leagues that I have Higgins, kind of like a sell high situation with the Chase news. But a lot of Chase's stuff is production, or a lot of Higgins stuff is with Chase on the field. And it makes you think, how much of the Chase coverage is being drawn to that side. I'm not saying Higgins isn't good. I think Higgins is great. I drafted him in 5 leagues. I like him. He's a good talent. But you wonder how much of the offense, generates opportunities for other parts of the offense, if that makes sense. And Kenyon Drake is the starting running back. Fuck me, dude.
Why?
I mean,
only for one drive.
We've suggested. I don't know. He's just in there as the starter.
Oh, well,
It'll be all right.
We bet against Gus Edwards.
Mark Andrews,
baby,
ripping it down the fucking sideline. Yes.
There's one.
Knee looks great.
Well, don't worry, guys.
One
All of
more.
your Gus Bust recommended starts, I countered. So
That's so. Hopefully, you listen to Austin.
I literally recommended Deonta Foreman ahead of Gus Bust this week.
That was a great.
That one, I like. It was the Fournette one that I think we were going Fournette. Well, no. What was we asked Gus or
Gus or
no, there was somebody else.
Okay.
No, I'm not remembering.
Do you remember?
Anyways, I was trying to process that situation that we were talking.
That's two.
Another guy?
Getting
Told you.
fed.
Travis said it first drive.
Yeah, let's go.
We're halfway there.
So, anyways, it's Higgins and Andrews for Walker. Oh, you know what? Jersey J might be asking this because I have Higgins and Andrews, and he has Walker in the listener league. I think he might be trying to get a deal done right here.
I
was going to offer it to Travis. It makes sense. I don't really have. I mean, I do have Michael Carter, so there's a little bit of a bump there with the Breece Hall injury. Fuck, man. I know we say this maybe every year, Austin.
Yeah.
About it's brutal for injuries. But can you remember a week like this? And my heart goes out to you because in our league of record, all the players that are on your list right now of just in this week turn. And I just want to know, Can you remember a week like this, feeling like this?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, yes, I can.
Absolutely. My last 3 years of fantasy football. In our league.
Fair enough.
I'm not even playing, dude.
Right.
Like the line I go back to 2 years ago, it bears repeating. I at one point in the season had all 5 of my first 5 picks, rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on the IR at the same time. We're talking Saquon Barkley, David Johnson, George Kittle, Dak Prescott, DJ Moore. Round picks 1 through 5, all on the IR at the same time. I'm Breece Hall. I got Breece Hall in our Dynasty League of Record, in our League of Record, loving what he's about. He's got an ACL and PCL injury going on, and I'm sitting there being like, oh my God, look at all these really high-end, elite-level running backs that keep going down. And then the list just keeps going. Saquon, CMC, Dalvin Cook missed extended time. DK Hunter, what the fuck is this? Henry, the big guy who trucks and runs everybody over.
Derrick Henry?
So many injuries. Derrick Henry, he missed like 8 games last year, and that's how many games that Breece Hall is going to miss for your fantasy season this year. Like a little more, but like everybody at the running back position gets.
They muffed it.
Did he push the guy into him?
Well, they pushed their own team. So I think that's definitely Baltimore's ball. Because I don't think you can push your own team. Like if Baltimore would have pushed him into it, but he pushed his own teammate. Oh, maybe not.
It looked like maybe he pushed him into him.
No, I see it now. Yeah. I mean, I
still think it's Baltimore's ball. Well, this is good for a Mark Andrews catch right here.
That would be good for me on a lot of fronts if it was in the end zone. And he caught it.
Let's see. Jersey J. You lost Hall. Me too. Njoku. Me too. DK. Me too. You had Swift. I did not. I also had Hubbard. Had Breece Hall. Jamar Chase. Now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's brutality, man.
Also drafted in that same league, Trey Lance. He's gone after the first week. Bye-bye.
Ooh. That's the negative yards for our Lamar rushing.
Did we take anything with Gus in the bet slips?
We went.
We took Lamar.
We took Lamar's rushing ahead of.
Okay.
Gus.
Okay.
And Gus got like 8
that's kind of
yards.
good. Yeah.
So. Yeah, dude, brutal. But you know what, man? Like, I'm not even playing. It hurts. I'd be lying full throat if I said it didn't hurt. It absolutely does. But I was standing right over here 2 years ago watching Dak Prescott's ankle go 180 degrees, listening to Tony Romo say, "Oh, it's just a cramp."
That's cramps.
Cramps. And then going off on Chris Thomas in our League of Record when he was like, "Yeah, I had a guy get hurt too." And I was like, "Are we so fucking pathetic that we can't let somebody just like have their own moment in pain, that we have to like be like, no, look at me from 2 weeks ago, look at me." And I just remember going off on that because it is so painful, but we're 2 years removed from that moment. We've had countless injuries from then till now. I guess they're not countless. I could go back and tally them all up if I really wanted to. I'm not going to do that. It's just the point.
Anybody wants to do that.
Tucker Herbert, shout out to him for coming up with this. His first year in our League of Record, some many years ago, he's like, whoa, this is really a game of attrition, isn't it? And it's like truth spoken through the eyes of babes. And that's who our baby and Tucker was.
Man.
Like, this is a game of attrition. If you pretend it's not, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Your best dudes are going to get hurt. And at best, they don't get hurt and they're just playing at less than 100%. That's just it. Suck it down. Accept it. Prepare for the future.
Chaos is a ladder.
Hopefully for Tyler Boyd. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. Really heads up pickup, I think, by you, Austin, this week. And we had a discussion because you outbid me by 3 for Tyler Boyd. And I was like, man, I was really frustrated about that because I needed some wide receiver help. But as you said astutely, I think that he's got that contingent value. If Chase is going to miss time, that bumps him up a little bit too.
He's been a little gimpy. Chase has been a little gimpy the last couple.
We had a scare in that game, and now that scare has come to fruition 3 days later. Okay, now we know what's going on. So, yeah, I thought it was a big time pickup for you. And it's funny, Boyd, a lot of people in the industry sell Boyd. And I was really intrigued on the other side of that of buying into Boyd and the offense because of the way I was telling you They've changed the offense to mirror their Super Bowl run, to mirror LSU, to run from spread, to run from to throw from the gun. And that was schemed up stuff for Tyler Boyd because of Chase and the attention he was drawing and all that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting to see if they go more run heavy, if Zach Taylor gets scared with Chase out. But either way, we know that they're going to pass to both Higgins and Boyd, and both of those guys are going to be it's kind of a luxury it's definitely a luxury for Cincinnati to be able to lean on these two guys if a guy like Chase misses time.
Yeah.
So I think that the offense doesn't take. This is not a knock to Chase. They're obviously better with him, but the offense doesn't take as big of a hit as you would think when you miss a star player like Chase.
Yeah, I think it's a huge bump for Boyd, and I think it's a huge bump for Mixon. I think Higgins...
Mixon, for sure.
It's not the biggest bump for Higgins, but those two players, I think it's going to impact them a lot in the fantasy football world.
Yeah, Mixon already on pace for career high receptions. Probably going to stay on that track, if not get a little bit more with this injury.
I think Mixon is going to get a lot more opportunity and production from this. I'm wondering about Joe Burrow. We saw him move into the top 5. And Travis, you mentioned some possibilities on production shifts with Chase going down. I have to ask the question. Jamar Chase, to me, is such a nuclear option at the wide receiver position that even if he's not getting fed, I think he's on all of the defenders' minds.
Time. For sure.
And so him being like out, not even having decoy status, I'm wondering the type of impact defenses are going to take this in with and how this is going to impact T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and ultimately Joe Burrow.
That's a great question. I think that Burrow probably gets a little bit of a hit here. I mean, for sure it gets a hit. I think the ceiling takes a hit for the bit. I think they've hit a bit of a groove as far as not just Burrow and the offense, and obviously Chase, and they schemed a lot more stuff down the field for Chase, which was beautiful to see finally. But the offensive line is really the big part of this. They spent a ton of money on the offensive line in the offseason. It started off the year that they could not keep Burrow upright, and some of that was on Burrow, and he admitted as such, I'm holding it too long. What happens? They go to shotgun. They get the ball out of his hand quickly, and then it's kind of a war of attrition, to borrow that word again, on the defense throughout the game because they're like, dink, 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 and then boom, Chase, and you can do that when you kind of chisel at them throughout the game. It'll be interesting to see if that element goes away, like that home run hit to hit Burrow's ceiling. But I still think that the floor is relatively great in this offense. Offensive line's clicking. Mixon can always keep chains moving. As Donnie was saying, Mixon could get a bump, and then Higgins and Boyd are an excellent 1-2 combo. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think you're very right to point out that at least Burrow's ceiling has definitely, because he was a guy who was like, man, top 5 rest of the season, if they're fully healthy, because it's just the way. And now you're probably top 8. He'll have his 20-point games, now, his 18-point games, but I think he's going to relatively stay around that range.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it there.
Jersey Jay, appreciate you stopping in.
Love you, man. Adios. Does it give a bump to Hayden Hurst? Probably.
I like Hayden Hurst. I think that'll be a good one too. Hayden Hurst has had a strong season.
Yeah. There's Fournette. Cranking out a good chunk of yards on that second down. I kind of like these Tampa Bay jerseys. They're like one of the few. They strike me as like a tired 2000s jersey.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah,
I almost kind of like them. I think they do the era well, and I think it's a really boring, uninspired era. But I almost think these are moving into classic territory.
I've noticed you kind of gravitate, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but you kind of gravitate towards the more plain jerseys. Yes. You don't like the, obviously we talked about the Cardinals with the armpit dagger or whatever they are, but this one doesn't really have any of that flair on it. Like Office Space flair.
13 piece of flair.
Yeah.
Look at Donnie over here. He's got 77 pieces of flair.
Exactly.
Some people are like, Donnie, just tell me. All right.
Like, get a room, you two. Oh man, Kate Otten. Nope, that's not even Kate Otten. Who's that guy, dude? Keefe. Like Keefe, isn't that what's a
Chief
you
Keef?
sprinkle on top of the bowl? A little bit of Keefe.
Yeah, what's up, Freak Stomper? Where you at?
Shout out to Dawn and Scott. Dawn had a funny comment. She said that Scott wasn't talking to him for hours because he was just tinkering all his 50 lineups.
3 hours a day, every day.
Yeah. Newsflash, Dawn, those aren't lineups. Okay. He's over there on OnlyFans. Scott.
Oh, no.
Knock it off. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, Godwin. Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
That's not good,
we need
dude.
Bateman to get. It's all right. Early.
Yeah, that's true.
It's early.
What was our bet against God? That was a good play.
We had Bateman over.
Bateman more yards.
He's got
They're
the
pretty,
bump, too.
after that play, they're even, I think.
Yeah, that was a good chunk. Both offenses through like from the 20s to 20s have moved pretty well on each other. We'll see what happens in the red zone for
Tom's ball's looking pretty good here. Got a little zip. It's been placed well. He looks like he
removed his balls from Giselle's purse, and now they are looking good out there on the field.
Well, the first ball looked horrible. It was
maybe.
Ooh, negative yards for Fournette. We like that.
There you go.
Yeah. What do you think, Austin? Donnie was talking a little bit about it. Jersey J, I think, commented that Brady would retire after this game. We've heard the Giselle ultimatum. No way that Brady retires before the end of the season, right?
That would actually be shocking to me.
Yeah.
What if there no chance they even make the playoffs? You don't think he'll retire? They just lose the next 4.
So the thing about Brady is this alpha mentality that he's never quit on anything ever.
Right.
Except for
to him. Oh, did Evans get that? He might have been out of bounds. Yeah, he was out of bounds.
Flag anyway.
I think it would be a bigger variation to Tom Brady's psychology to see him retire now, even if that was the only hope of him holding on to his family, than finishing out the season. But he's put himself in a really weird area that I don't think Tom Brady's ever found himself in. Right. He's always been able to maintain these important elements in his life. Football is a very important element in his life. His wife is a very important element in his life. His children are an important element in his life. Those two together, his family, is an important element to him in his life. He is no Aaron Rodgers. This dude gets along with his dad and his family and his siblings and he's got a wife and he's got kids and he loves them very much. And this is weird right now. The Brady household is dealing with some storm clouds. That is real. Your question there, would he retire in this game? Like, you know what? There is a world. Like, if his family life really did get to that breaking point, I would be shocked to see Tom Brady extend another couple of games at the expense of his family. But I think he would push it all the way until that line, because to your point earlier, this man doesn't quit. So I think he'd quit football before he quit his family, but I think he's still trying to thread the needle between both. The way he thread that pass to Chris Godwin.
Back to Fournette for the tutty here.
Donnie, you called
Donnie did. Yeah, Donnie wanted that one. That was a good one.
Big call there.
That's right. I have my own bet slip over here where I put it in.
Good for you.
Whatever. He's like, I just do a side bet slip. That's the anti of whatever we do.
No, I usually match you guys completely. I didn't win last week, though, because I added the 4.5 receiving yards for Vilas Jones.
Uh-huh.
I said, fuck it. It was our 4 that we won, and I was like, 4.5. You can get it. It's one pass. Come on. He didn't get it.
He didn't get a pass. Did he get a target?
He didn't get it. I don't think so. I didn't check. I was fucking annoyed.
Dude, that's the thing on these. Somebody, you're like, oh, it's so low, but you're like, okay, how much time is he actually going to spend on the field? And then how many pass plays will he be involved in when he's on the field, or is he like a blocker? And then how many times will one of those routes he's on a pass play, will he actually go out, and will he actually have the quarterback look his way, and then will he actually secure it? It's like there's more.
Yeah. So he had 18% of the snaps, but 0 targets.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. $5. Could have been 100, but that's right.
I'll tell you, man, those are my favorites to go under on, and I don't like doing them on the show because we're streaming.
Yeah,
we're watching the bets, and you can have a under, especially when it's like a 5-yard under. Just get crushed and play in the first quarter, and that's no fun. But I love those takes because I think they give them, underdog being they, give them sometimes a little bit too much credit because it's like, to me, it's a 50-50 if they're even going to be on the field, Velus Jones. Yeah. And then if they are on the field, that's one coin toss you got to win. And then it's a second coin toss. Are they actually going to get these yards? Because the yards that underdog gives them are as if they'll actually be on the field. So that's 2 coin tosses. And it is way harder to win 2 coin tosses in a row than it is to win 1 coin toss. I remember that, Mrs. Pied, from learning about permutations in 9th grade math. I remember you. Yeah, it's way harder. And then winning 3 coin tosses.
Mrs. Pie.
Like, only bet overs. There he is. Yeah, bro, but if we only bet overs, then we don't ever get to be the Undertakers.
Yes, sir. We should all, like, in the off season, I know there's that app we can put our face on it, but we should legit actually do these GIFs, like film it and put them in.
I agree.
Film them?
Take all of our favorite ones.
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite? What are some of your favorite GIFs of all time, Johnny?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I like all the Office ones. You know, I've seen The Office probably 20 times through and through. I'm addicted. It's like a show I always have on.
Oh my God, it's happening.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something from The Office for sure.
If we're gonna do one from The Office,
you gotta do this.
I call dibs on this one.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one to recreate. That'd be hilarious.
That whole scene, man. Stay alive. Yeah, that's a good one. What about you, Trappy?
Oh man, I got a bunch that I really like. I like the Jack Nicholson in anger management.
There you go.
Head nodding his head. I like the Leo DiCaprio making fun of Jack Nicholson. Yeah, that one's a great one right there. The eyebrow raise. I like Leo. A lot of Leo gifts. I like the Leo dancing from Wolf of Wall Street. He's like pop locking it.
Oh yeah,
that's a really good one that I use.
Like the wave.
Yeah, he's like doing that, and everybody's in the background kind of dancing with him at his wedding. I like the Ray Liotta laughing from Goodfellas. That's a classic one. There was one more I wanted to bring up right here, but now I'm drawing a blank on it. Oh, the guy who's like astonished. The guy who's like, wow.
Oh, the eye blinks?
Yeah.
That's one I was going to mention that one myself.
That one's a really good one. So
that's one of my all-time favorites.
We have the monkey one that side eyes. That one's good too. Yeah, that one's good too.
Love this one. I want to see Johnny do this one.
Yeah.
I think that just is
Chip Diamond's great.
I also like the. Go ahead. Robert Downey Jr. rolling his eyes. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then also the Homer Simpson backing into the bushes.
Yeah, that's a classic one too.
See, Adidas is going to make that shoe. It's pretty good. It's like the whole shoe is going to be green fluff, and then it'll just be like Homer backing into it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's and they have one with Marge where the whole thing is blue, like blue fuzz, and then it's just her because it's like her hair.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
I think I love all of those ones. For me, I'd want to do this one.
Oh
yes,
I forgot to mention that one. That one's a good one. Yes. Austin, you also like the mischievous little girl one, where she's kind of like
and
the fire, like
in front of the fire.
Yeah. There's a couple of like devious children smiling ones that I.
Like. Did we mention the kid with the soda in his hand, looking like what the fuck?
Oh,
like like his hand is on his belly.
Yeah, he's like side-eyeing. A lot of the side-eye ones are good.
Yeah, for sure.
That one's like, it's good. It's the side-eye, but he's a little bit like scared.
Yeah,
it's like this one, but a little bit more like,
yeah.
If I make too loud a noise, my dad might hit me. It's like that one.
Yeah, for sure. He will. No, I'm just kidding.
Mar Jackson.
Throw it or run it.
Run it.
Or throw it or run it or run it. There it is.
We need the running yards.
Oh, he's going deep. No.
Oh, you had the first down if you ran it.
God, I connect on that.
Come on, Lamar.
We were trending in the right way to see some offense, man. Lammer.
Another punt.
There we go.
It's a stout-looking punter.
Oh,
Is it me, or did he look a lot faster than he was running it? He looked like he was running slower, but he was going pretty quick.
Well, you had some holes there for a moment until they closed.
They closed his holes up.
Closed them up. Nice ones here. Oh man!
So another trade today. Kadarius Toney traded to the Chiefs.
Ooh.
Any instant reaction on that from you guys?
Dynasty way up, redraft.
Yeah, I do like it as a dynasty move for sure, more than redraft.
Redraft in a few weeks, I could see him popping off.
Somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I'm off Kadarius Toney. Percy Harvin was extremely talented. Kadarius Toney is extremely talented. You're playing amongst a lot of extremely talented people who are also dedicated. I don't think Kadarius Toney is dedicated, and I don't think there's an amount of talent in the NFL that's going to supersede dedication. He's not talented enough, and he's certainly not committed enough. So I think it's a non-story, honestly. Now you got to play it. You got to roll with it. Feeling it's cool. He's probably the most talented pass catcher in Kansas City outside of Kelsey. You know? Yeah,
it's an interesting situation because you can look at Andy Reid and his history of bringing in guys like that were kind of disgraced or on the field issued talented players like Michael Vick or Deshaun Jackson or Jeremy Maclin. Yeah. And he's had success. Then you can look at the other side, and he's also brought in like a Josh Gordon. Now, whether or not that was too late in his career or something.
Over.
Yeah. So I think that there are situations that I don't know. I think it's a two-sided coin here. And sometimes these things just take a change of scenery. You know, this was not the it's a 50-50 coin flip for me with Kadarius Toney, because even in his only game, like the game that he's known for against the Cowboys, he pops off for 180 yards and also popped off 2 punches and got ejected from the game. So, like, it's a microcosm of who he potentially is. But I do believe that if I'm asking for a change of scenery, I like this a whole lot better than a lot of options that could have happened. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes there, Travis Kelce there to kind of put him under his wing. And they went out and took 2 picks and said, we think he's talented. We wanted somebody on his rookie contract. He was just drafted in the first round last year, not like 2 years ago, not 3 years ago, last year. So I do think it's definitely worth the dice. I hear both sides of it. And that's what Twitter was today. You just saw 2 sides of the coin. Well, if he stays healthy, you know, and then even Kadarius Toney like clapping back and being like, well, that would be a good joke if I wasn't already like healthy still. So there are, you know, we talked about this with like Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney, and like maybe that injury wasn't as real or as significant as we thought.
I don't think Kadarius Toney's got any injury issues right now.
So
I don't think any of those things. I think he's like a Brashad Perriman type. He's like he's so talented. He's so good. He's got no commitment.
Sammy Watkins.
I think Sammy Watkins has got a really weird body because I haven't heard any of like issues on it. You hear commitment issues, you hear mental issues, you hear selfishness issues from Kadarius Toney. Now, the Giants organization is not one that oftentimes or recently has set up its players for success. Right. I think they themselves have issues with ego and preparation and preparedness. And I think they're a bit of a dumpster fire in the scope of the NFL. But at some point, it's like, you know, stand-up people will stand up. And you'll have stand-up people try to prop others up, and that's what Kansas City is going to try to do to Kadarius Toney. And, hey, we all saw Forrest Gump. Like, you can prop him up for a while, and sometimes those legs take strength, and they start running on their own. And sometimes you hold somebody up, and then you're like, let's see if you can stand on your own, and they just fall flat on the ground. And I don't know Kadarius Toney. I haven't had dinner with him. I don't know the guy enough, but I haven't seen anything other than his talent. And I've seen talent not be enough many, many, many times over in the NFL.
Yeah, I hear that. I like to take the optimistic point of view on this. I think it behooves us to be optimistic in fantasy.
So Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think both. I think both are interesting.
My favorite part about the whole Tony trade is not fantasy football related. It's that he has a ginormous back tattoo of the New York scenery and the number 89 that says Tony on it.
Wait, that was him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's Tony's tattoo. Yeah, that's what everything. I checked. I was like, that's not him, and I checked Twitter, and it said Tony's. Multiple sources says Tony back tattoo is legit and tight. And yeah,
Arias Tony got that entire back scene. That's Tony's?
I might be wrong, but that's what I saw. Yeah.
No, you're not wrong. That is confirmed, okay. Tony.
Oh
it's his back tat of the New York skyline because he got drafted.
What?
Yeah.
That's the most committed to New York.
Can't get that covered up.
Yeah, so all these questions about his commitment, I just think are false. I think it's on the Giants side.
He should have been traded to the Jets, so he could have kept it.
Oh my God, that'd be fun.
That would have been funny.
These pass attempts are looking good.
I'll tell you what, man, Brady and the Bucks carving him up here.
Bro, I don't want to go crazy, but Kadarius Toney is more of a mess than I thought he was right before Donnie told me that. That's wild. You're gonna make that kind of commitment. You're gonna spend that much time in the chair, endure that much physical pain, let alone the thousands of dollars that costs. I don't care about any of that shit. This seems like I hope Kadarius Toney finds in life what he is looking for, because it seems like he's searching. As are we all. That
was a weird play.
Terrible pass.
Yeah.
White searching for yards. He got none. Did you say terrible pass?
Yeah.
Terrible pass.
It was.
It was kind of behind there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was not good. Unless White could have screwed up the play, but from the look of it, if the play, it looked like it should have been thrown in front of White, if the way he was running. So I guess it could be a bad route run by White.
Yeah, I think White was maybe a yard or two closer to the line than
because he almost threw it while he was in motion. It almost snapped while he was still in motion.
Oh,
damn, Evan's getting those juicy end zone looks.
Juicy.
Real freaking naughty.
This is a big game for both teams too. I mean, Bucks are 3-4, Ravens 4-3. Everyone thought they were legit, conference championship contenders to go to the Super Bowl. This might be the beginning of the end of one of their seasons.
I didn't feel like the Bucks were the best Bucks team they've been. The Brady Bucks. I felt like this was the worst version of themselves, and that's kind of maintained. I'm not concerned personally about the Ravens because Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. He is that dude to me. His ability can tilt any game against any team. So I'm not concerned on that side. I hope that he gets some consistency from his other pass catchers and stuff. But Trevor, do you kind of feel the same way on this, or do you?
Yeah. So here's what I'll say about the AFC. I'm definitely more concerned about the Bucks than I am the Ravens. And that's just because, I think, I don't know. I would echo what Austin said there. Now, what I think on the other side, the AFC, I'm actually just a little bit more the AFC, not as top tier as we thought. Now, I think they have the most talent division or conference to conference, but we thought the AFC West was going to be gangbusters, and it's the Chiefs and everybody else.
Chargers not that great. Broncos not that great.
And if you look at even the AFC North, Bengals had to dig themselves out of a hole. They're looking good the last few weeks, but they started really sluggish and weird, dropping that game to Pittsburgh in week 1 and then trying to fight through these other games. Baltimore, I think, is probably the best coached team in that division. They've got the best pedigree, and they probably have the best weapon, right, in Lamar Jackson. He's the only MVP in that division. So I think, I'm kind of with that sentiment that I'm not really as worried based on their division. Now, you could say kind of the same for Tampa Bay and the Bucs, but they are dropping games they should not be dropping, and they just look broken, man. Carolina, Pittsburgh, yeah, like I just don't understand that, and they probably should have lost to. Well, they should have at least. Atlanta should have had a chance to upset them, but they had that fake roughing the passer call on Brady. So like Atlanta was in that game with them and could have drove down and done something. So, and New Orleans here sitting here, and I know everybody's kind of dunking on New Orleans because of the draft picks. And they're starting Dalton and all this stuff, but they're like not out of it yet either because of Tampa's struggles.
That division is good. I think the Saints could pull something together, man.
Right. Like they have
those pick sixes are really unfortunate, but outside of that, I get why they are starting Dalton over Jameis Winston. He looks like he gives you a sturdy enough foundation to build a game plan on.
Yeah, and if you can get Kamara healthier, get their defense healthier, that's kind of been part of it too, is their secondary has been banged up.
We see a big game out of Kamara. I'm taking a little bit of Sigmund Bloom. When you're emotionally invested in a player, use that emotional investment to read the tea leaves a little bit more. I took Kamara first round in our league of record, fell to like the 11th spot. I've never been a Kamara fan, but I'm taking him like, just don't get cute on this one is what I told myself. Like, take Kamara. I don't think the legal situation was going to impact this year. So I'm like, you just don't be stupid. Like, just take the dude. I know he's 27. I know this offense is down. My emotion's not into it, but I rode the numbers. And that rib injury really concerned me, guys, because it's one that hurts. It makes playing the game less fun. And then if your team is losing, it's automatically less fun. And then you being involved is less fun. And all of a sudden, you would rather kind of watch the game with a T-shirt on and a cool gold chain from the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, that kind of
made a bad joke. Or you'd almost like to watch it in jail. Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you on that. And it looks like he's kind of put that behind him. He looks better the last couple weeks.
And they've got some enthusiasm, and they're starting to put something together. And the divisional title is not out of reach. And now what we saw was Kamara get 10 days of rest because they played last Thursday. I didn't think he was going to be getting a full workload last Thursday, only coming off of 3 days rest. He did get a full workload. He was pretty efficient. Now he gets the most rest he's had since the season began, and he's been playing, I think, all the snaps they've wanted him to play. So I think he comes in with a big game. I think he makes a play they didn't have before, and I think that the Saints offense takes a level up this week.
I mean, they hope it does because they don't have a first round pick, and they don't they need to play for this win, which is why people are like, why are they starting Andy Dalton? Don't they want to win this season? Are they tanking? And then the rumors that Kamara might be a trade candidate to Philly that came out this week.
And I think most of those are other teams calling about Kamara, and if you look at the Saints, they're being like, no, like they still believe. And I think starting Dalton actually is them saying they value winning, because I know that he had the 3 picks, like Austin said, though. He is like, that was almost a shocking game for us with Dalton. Yeah. Whereas like if that happened with Winston, you'd be like, oh, it's another day at the office with James Winston. Yeah. You know,
and they still almost
this
won.
is a defensive minded coach who wants, he runs their defense. He wants to play. Oh my God.
Dude, that was one bigger human.
Big man.
That looked like Santa Claus picking up his elves.
Yeah. That's like me sacking Johnny right there.
Me sacking Johnny.
Just swallowed.
We gotta film that too.
So I think the Saints, we'll see what happens with Tampa. I mean, this would be a big win if they do it in the way they're doing it right now. Convincingly, it'd be a big statement win. But Tampa, man, is dropping games they should not be dropping, and we'll see.
The question here from Nemo Ladies who has a better chance to win, 100 humans versus 1 gorilla or 10 humans versus 1 kangaroo? I got a strong take on this, unless you guys do.
He asked me on Sunday, but yeah, I want to hear yours.
I'm going for the kangaroo. I watched a dude in Australia last year like square up with a kangaroo and throw off a couple when the kangaroo like took his dog or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was a pretty fair fight, the 1-on-1. And like, so I think in most cases I'm taking the kangaroo over one person, but not on this. I get the 100 humans, but a gorilla is just so freaking strong. Go ahead and dogpile a gorilla. Get 20 dudes to like jump on top, and I still don't know if that gorilla can't just break out of that. You know what I mean?
I guess I want to see the metrics on the dudes because I did answer the 100 humans versus the 1 gorilla because of the
attack.
You have to like have a few puny guys distracting and then like 95 dudes jumping on the gorilla's back, poking his eyes out, ripping him out, stuff like that. And I'm not trying to get graphic here, but like that's what.
But why does the gorilla need the eyes? That just makes him angrier.
Huh? Yeah, because then he can't see shit. He gets tired. He's using all the energy. Then you go in for the kill. Take a rock, smash his head or something. Because it's a long game with 100 people. Because you could send 20 at a time if you wanted, or you could send all of them. With the 1 versus 10, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. But those kangaroos are looking jacked in Australia, dude. They come in looking like punching and boxing and shit. I don't know.
You said about the gorilla getting tired. Like, would the gorilla get tired? I don't know. I don't know enough about the endurance qualities of the gorilla.
I just have seen dudes that when we used to work out together, Austin.
Yeah.
I've seen dudes lift that are sizes of gorillas. So it's like if you give me 100 dudes like that, I might take
those guys are nothing even still compared to a gorilla.
It's all show weight.
Yeah, a gorilla could just literally rip a human in half. Like a kangaroo can't take out any people. They're not going to kill you. And so the gorilla could just like start rip 1,
their
2,
bite force is
3. Now you're down to 97.
5. I think their bite force is top 5 in the animal kingdom as well. If not top 5, definitely top 10.
Nemo. There's going to be at least 40 casualties messing with that gorilla. He's going to have.
I don't think any. The kangaroo doesn't kill anybody. The kangaroo doesn't.
So my answer.
Yeah, but we're not asking kill, right? Like who? We're asking death of the animal.
So
that sounds.
I love animals way too much, and I kind of hate humans. So I'm gonna go. I want the animals to both win both scenarios. So
he's got the kangaroo and the gorilla.
I'm rooting for the kangaroo and the gorilla both times.
Yeah. Yeah. Kangaroo on its back legs cornered is not losing.
Trip the tail. Sweep the tail.
Sweep the tail.
Devin Duvernay.
Go, baby.
Negative.
Come on.
Go.
Well, we got
a 0.
Go.
Go. God. Need more out of this Baltimore offense.
I like our purple themes we got right now, Travis.
Yeah, I didn't really mean to do that. And then when you were like anti-Gus, I was like, oh, but you're wearing the purple. So
I look hard, Baltimore. I didn't even do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Talking the Baltimore love tonight. Okay.
Hopefully we get some more love from their offense in this game.
We thought this would be a crummy, like a grindy game.
Yeah, but then Baltimore came out swinging, and they're like a couple shots to Andrews, and I was like, oh, here we go. Yeah, it's a fickle game, man. The hope in this fantasy game.
Yeah.
It's an interesting point you made about the Saints, too, because that's what Kirk Herbstreit was saying last week. Even in that blowout loss, you could kind of see the path for the Saints to kind of lean into Dalton and try to make the most of what they've got. I mean, they've essentially sold out, so they have to push as hard as they can. I don't see them trading.
How bad this division is.
Right, and I don't see them trading anybody before the deadline. It's Tuesday, so that's the question I have. We've seen a couple deals. We saw Christian McCaffrey, kind of a blockbuster there, obviously. Kadarius Toney, a little bit lesser, obviously. What do you think? Are you waiting on? What's that? James Robinson. Yep. Yeah, Jets leaning in, saying, "Hey, we're not done."
I love them going for it, dude, because they're so underdeveloped still.
Yeah,
this is the cool thing. Like they are what are they 5-2? Is that the record?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good record, right? Which my Packers Cardinals had a record of 5-2. So they're 5-2. Also, shout out to my Twitter poll that asked who will have more wins by the end of the year, Saleh or Bill Belichick. We'll see. To be determined. We'll see.
They play each other this week.
Just a question.
They play each other this week.
You got a team that's 5-2 in the Jets, right? With some of the best young talent. Breece Hall, pour one out. It's very sad, but I'm not as down on the whole Jets offense simply from Breece Hall being out. I think it is a legitimate loss because he was able to change plays. But I love that they went out and got another running back in James Robinson. And I think Michael Carter is legitimately good. He just doesn't have the fuel tank and the ability to like do it all game long or every game. But if you can set him up well, I think he'll make plays.
I'm interested to see how much James Robinson how good he's going to be, because what we've seen the last couple of weeks is maybe a knee thing that Doug Peterson talked about, and also like, he came back from an Achilles, and we've talked about how that can like mean you can make up or compensate in other areas, and other areas kind of fall off a little bit. So maybe that's related. But make no mistake, this offense was Breece Hall's offense. Zach Wilson was not throwing. He's not throwing a lot. They're basically, I think we're kind of getting the answer on Zach Wilson. I don't want to call it too soon, but this offense is built around trying to mask him, right? And I think that if that's the case after a year and a half, and he's had a couple injuries that have took him out of games, so I'll give him a little bit of credit. But if that's the case, and you got all these other weapons, I'm interested to see how this offense evolves, because it's really, I think a lot more is going to be put on Zach Wilson now because of this Breece Hall injury. So many explosive runs from Breece Hall. I mean, he's the reason why I think they won these games. They have a talented young defense, but like, he put the Packers away with that run. Like he got them ahead in that Broncos game and put them in the position. Right. So like, to me, I think they could be in trouble. And I'm not trying to just be Debbie Downer, but I just think that's a big piece of your offense.
Here's what I'm encouraged by. You say they basically been masking Zach Wilson, and I don't disagree. I'd even say they have been doing it, and they've been doing it very, very well, which to me is a testament to their coaching. I think that Robert Saleh is actually demonstrating strong coaching chops, and now he's got a new challenge in front of him.
Yes.
But the fact that he already went out and tried to acquire a ceiling running back and a James Robinson shows me he's playing to win. And that in and of itself, I don't even guarantee or agree that the move is going to work out, but that he's playing, he's active, he's thinking of avenue, he's trying to be creative. That says more to me than what we've seen some other coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm confident in Mike LaFleur and Saleh and like the talent around Zach Wilson.
Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Uzomah, Conklin. These are all good. Michael Carter. These are all good players. And then Sauce Gardner is the best rookie defender maybe in the NFL right now. One of the best. He's probably a Pro Bowl cornerback right now in his rookie season. Like is he elite? If not, he's real close, and he's about to be. So to me, this whole squad is interesting, and I want to see if these theses are correct. And Saul is a really good coach, and he's able to execute a strong game plan, and he's going out and getting new pieces because they have to now after the Breece Hall injury. What does this mean for this offense? I'm just excited to watch. I'm excited to see a master doing his thing.
And I've seen a lot out of Mike LaFleur that gets you excited as far as the offensive coordinator. Like when they've had to go to Flacco or Mike White or these other situations when they've had less. He's done more with less than a lot of people I've seen on the offensive side of the ball. It's so funny because quarterback reminds me of your brain. Your brain can be your biggest helper. It could be your biggest enemy. And I feel like that's what we see in the NFL with quarterbacks, like they can be your biggest fucking tool, your biggest advantage. They can be the biggest detriment to your team. And so that's what I worry about with the Jets, but I'm actually a little interested in Elijah Moore, in Garrett Wilson going forward, because they'll have to lean on the receiving game probably more. We'll see if they have to throw more just by nature of what's going on with Breece Hall exiting, and I'm interested to see how they break up this backfield, because Carter had great metrics last year in between the tackles runner, and he was a great receiver in college. So it'll be interesting to see how much juice we have in Robinson, because they could, if Robinson's good to go, they could pick up kind of in a light version of where they left off with.
They need Zach Wilson to step up, and they need Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson to get plugged in.
Ooh, Gus Bus breaking tackles.
There he goes. Good run, Gus. And that's I picked up Garrett Wilson in our league of record simply because I'm like, they're going to have to funnel passes somewhere else. They're not going to be able to run the ball as much as they have.
Corey Davis out too with the knee. He's got a knee thing for a knee sprain, MCL sprain. That's the same reason in our league of record I picked up Elijah Moore. He's got the squeaky wheel narrative going on a little bit, almost was traded. And they talked today, Mike LaFleur talked today about moving him into the slot, moving Wilson outside.
Right.
And I think if you're trying to get your young quarterback to like get some good opportunities, the slot's the way to do it. So I'm with you. I buy into a little bit of an upgrade, an uptick at least in volume for the Jets passing attack. will it be efficient enough to give us the fantasy goodies we want? That's the question.
Zach Wilson could be one of the biggest top 3 quarterback busts of all time.
Jets would be sitting here with Sanchez, Darnold, and Zach Wilson back to back to back.
Hoorah.
At least Sanchez won some games, dude.
Took you some AFC championships.
Yeah.
Twice in a row, yeah.
And he's kind of a fun announcer, too.
Yeah. What's up, Evan, here?
What's up, Evan?
Asking us to pick 2 this week only, half-point PPR, Najee Harris, Michael Carter, and James Conner.
Oh, no. Get up, Andrews.
You're right. Walk it off. Not living too much. Let's see.
Ugh.
I think I'd roll Michael Carter for sure out of those 3.
Bowie.
How many we got? Was that our 3rd catch?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Pick 2 this week only. Half PPR, Najee, Michael Carter, James Conner.
You like Michael Carter for sure, you said, Donnie?
Out of those 3, he's the only one in my mind that's like a for sure start this week.
Kind of gotta be, right? I'm on the. I kind of like Najee Harris a little more moving forward.
Yeah, but they're versing the Eagles though.
Yeah,
which is tough.
I hear you.
In these 3, I'm taking Michael Carter and Najee.
I am too. Are
you?
I
think I would.
Are you? So we're all in agreement on the 2
so.
we like.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out. We've had some questions in the last week of like who's a good buy low candidate. The reason why Najee Harris comes to mind for me is I was so far down on him because of the foot injury he came into the season with, like this Liz Frank sprain. And I'm like, this is going to be with him all year. This is going to keep a guy who is volume dependent, lower on the volume than he needs to be an RB1 like we saw his rookie season. But it sounds like, at least right now, like this foot issue is kind of in the past and his conditioning is ramping up. And at least in the sound bites I've heard from Najee Harris, I can feel some excitement in his voice. And this team isn't good, but they're in like a rebuilding mode now. Like I feel like they've twisted they've turned it over. You know what I mean? They're not trying to like grind it out with some older weapons that worked years ago, like this Tom Brady led Buccaneers team we're watching right now. This is like the future team that we're watching. Najee Harris is still a sophomore running back. George Pickens is looking like a really great young talent. They got Kenny Pickett, first quarterback off the board this year. TJ Watt, Micah Hyde, all their defensive studs are not of age concern whatsoever. And so to me, it's like this team doesn't even need to be winning or on a playoff trajectory to have excitement. It's like this is the new look Steelers. And I think that they can get on board with that. And I think Najee so far is still. So I kind of like Najee Harris as a buy low candidate.
I think I'm a little bit opposite of you. He's just, I don't know. I loved the talent coming out. People were a little worried about his age. He was a little bit older for a rookie. But then he looked so efficient with Big Ben. I think he was the number 3 running back last year in PPR. But he was getting crazy amount of targets with Big Ben. And he's always kind of been inefficient in the NFL in the run game. I don't know what his yards per carry was last year, but right now his yards per carry is 3.3. Mm-hmm. His PFF overall rating right now is a 60.4. It's a younger offense. It's a rebuilding offense. I love Najee for dynasty purposes, but for this year, I would be on the sell. I wouldn't really want to buy.
The problem is like I don't think you can like I get the Najee like sell. I do. But you'd have to get somebody that's like an Alabama and Pittsburgh fan that like loves Najee, like that because
I would hold or sell. I wouldn't buy
like me.
Yeah, but like for me, like because I thought about it too. I tossed around the idea. It's like because you're looking for those guys where the arrow can turn around. And Austin, credit to you in seeing this because I think it's definitely something I would look at to target because you're like, okay, well, here are the things. They've removed the plate in the shoe. Kenny Pickett could give the offense a little bit more opportunity. Yeah. You can kind of see some of these things. I will say that after the Jalen
good.
Yeah, exactly.
He becomes consistent.
The optimism. Yeah. You can have the optimism here. The problem with Najee is he's never been explosive. Like, and I know he's only been a year and a half. He was not explosive last year. He had 1 yard over 20 yards last year. One run over 20 yards.
1 carry, yeah.
So that's not good. That's not good for your explosive back. And to Donnie's point, 3.9 yards per carry this year, 3.9 carries per carry last year, 3.2 this year. The offensive line is not very good. We're seeing that even with Pickett in there helping the offense out. So I think he's a hold. He's going to be. I mean, I've constantly put him as a don't play this week in the article, but there are going to be weeks that you have to. We talked about game of attrition. Yeah. I'm not in a hurry to go sell him because what are you going to get back? Some middling wide receiver that you're going to be frustrated you played because he's going to have up and down weeks. At least you can consistently get double-digit carries out of Najee and a red zone look if they get down there. That's what I would bank my head on. He's an RB3 with RB2 probably with upside week to week if he scores, but that's kind of where you're looking at, I think. So.
Yeah, Najee Harris.
I just don't see the upside. Is it because they like Warren and they said it all offseason, and now they're showing us that they want to spell Najee more.
And Warren's
they're doing
been more
it.
efficient.
I'm not saying it's a ton. I'm not saying that Warren's some gangbuster. I'm saying it's enough to take away what we loved out of Najee last year, which was 100% of the snaps and everything, volume-wise.
16 targets.
Yeah, that's just not happening this year between Ben, between Warren, between all these other different variables.
The line, yeah.
This might just be a little bit more of a fairy tale outlook on it for me, but I'm really buying into these storylines. And I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been so depressed this year. Mitch Trubisky was not that dude. They didn't get it going. Tomlin's above 500 or playoff streak is probably going to end. And there was a little bit of reluctancy to shift into the new until that happened. I think, though, that they are fully embracing the new. And I love Najee Harris as a person. I love him as a person more than a prospect. I didn't like him as a prospect that much.
Right.
We like Javonte Williams as the number one running back prospect coming out of college 2 years ago. Najee Harris, though, to me is a really cool person, and he tries really hard, and he sells out. He sells out, he goes for it all the time. He leaves it all on the field, he does it for the kids, that kind of shit. Yeah. And I just think that this Pittsburgh Steelers offense is the one of the most fraternity type teams in the NFL. And I mean that in all the best ways. Mike Tomlin is the leader who genuinely looks out for everybody and gets the most out of people, and they play above their weight class, and they believe in him.
Throw it away, man.
And I think Najee Harris is a believer. And I think if we see that Kenny Pickett upside, George Pickens makes some plays, Najee Harris, I love that he's not fast, but he tries to hurdle everybody. To me, he's just and for all the Warren love, and I picked him up and have started him in the listener league myself, I'm kind of surprised looking at Warren's touches all season. This is going back to last week. 2 carries. The week before that, 2 carries. 5 carries. The week before that, that was a season and career high. 3 carries, 4 carries, 4 carries, 3 carries. He's never gotten 6 carries in a game. You know what I mean? So just this Warren takeover that I was thinking, it hasn't happened yet. And if Najee is more healthy today than he's ever been, it's probably not going to happen next week. So, yeah, I like Najee and Michael Carter.
I don't think that Najee or Warren's going to take over. I think that's a take that kind of gets blown out of proportion.
Just makes Najee not a bell cow.
Yeah.
Agreed. Who's this running? Is that Gus?
There's 3rd and 36.
No, Justice Hill.
Running up that hill. Wow, Justice Hill. What's up, dude?
Ugh. Mark Andrews going to the locker room. Fucking tight.
Oh, man.
Look at that face, too. That's the face of somebody who,
So now it's a shoulder.
He just knows.
Shoulder questionable. Okay.
I think there's always something, so profound about when you see these athletes and they're going through such major pain, obviously, right? You're not in the game because you're injured, you're hurt, your pain receptors are flaring, and for them you can see, though, the pain on their face is not from the pain they're feeling from the injury, it's from the knowledge they're gonna miss time on these teams. And I always just think that's what these athletes go through is incredible, and their dedication is almost you almost can't even like feel it. Like imagine like just being in such crazy pain, but the pain on your face is just from not being able to be out on the field.
What I see in my mind's eye right now from that is Penny a few weeks ago. Just his face. I don't know if you guys saw him when he got injured, but you saw him sitting on the sideline. His legs were out, and he's just like, "Fuck again." And that tore, like he didn't look like he was in pain, like you were saying, but his face looked like just how you're saying. Man,
he just knew he was done.
Yep.
It's not a pain tolerance kind of thing. It's like my leg isn't like when you see guys when like they just like slam their helmets, and you're like, "Oh, that guy just like tore his ACL." But he's pissed because he knows he has to recover now for a year.
Yep.
It's just wild. Like what athletes go through is just. Yep. Speaking
of injuries, in my 20-man league, I need a little bit of help. You guys want to help me out?
Yeah.
It's 20-man dynasty. I have Penny on IR. I have Patterson on IR. I have Marquise Brown on IR. I have Jameson Williams on the pup. I have Cam Akers doubtful. I have DK Metcalf who's out. Probably. Wow. Maybe. So I'm starting Zay Jones at wide receiver. I need one more wide receiver. I have Greg Dortch on my bench. He's projected to get 0.14 points. I don't really take projections into that much.
Sure.
But he hasn't gotten much field play. He had the touchdown last week. I could pick up Dorsett on the Texans.
Philip.
Or on my taxi squad, I have Dwayne Eskridge on the Seahawks, who could get more play time with DK out. So those are my choices. What do you guys think?
So we got Dortch, Eskridge, or Philip Dorsett.
Is Dorsett the only one available?
Basically.
Is there like Mac Hollins? Is Mac Hollins available? Mac Hollins interests me from the Raiders.
No, he's not.
No Donovan Peoples-Jones or anything like that.
The top ones are Dorsett, Mike Thomas of Cincinnati. Could be interesting. Moore on the Houston Texans. Johnson on the Giants. Scotty Miller, who's playing right now. Shee Smith.
I think if you're trying to have fun, I would go Eskridge. Like, that's your team.
Yeah.
DK's out. Play Eskridge.
When you're like,
the right play, I don't even know.
I mean, hot takes on any of the other players.
Yeah, I don't know if
it's
any
hard,
of these
man.
are the right
Yeah,
play.
it's rough.
Dorsett is like, I guess, kind of like the chalkiest with Nico Collins probably out, but like, I'd rather just roll with Geno than trust in Davis Mills. Plus, you're the Seahawks fan. I think this is just one of those times where it kind of lines up with having a little bit of fun.
Speaking of Geno and tight ends, Travis, shout out to that video you shared of Travis Kelce talking about West Virginia when he was trying out as a quarterback. And Kelce watching Geno Smith just throw those passes and him being like, oh, that's how a quarterback at this level is supposed to be able to throw the ball. I'm going to do something else, basically.
That's a small world story right there. I like it.
It's like low-key, Geno Smith is the reason that Travis Kelce is an elite tight end.
Because
otherwise,
you never know which direction adversity is going to push you, and you never know which direction what door disappointment will ultimately open. Dude, think about that, though. I love that you brought that up, Travis. Travis Kelce is about to be a D1 college quarterback. Think back to when you were 17, 18 years old and the idea that you're going to be like a D1 college quarterback going up to sold out stadiums, 70, 80, 90, 100,000 plus people, cheerleaders, friends, family, all the kinds of stuff watching. It's a big deal. And then you're like, I'm not good enough to play this position at this level.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, what do? You don't like fold up and cry. You just keep doing what you can. And that ends up positioning you to a tight end. That's a way less glorious position than a quarterback. But what do? You become one of the greatest tight ends of all time, win a Super Bowl, win a bunch of fantasy championships for a bunch of people out there, and like have all these cool moments. the tight end. Like, I don't know. It's a really cool lesson to hold close. Like, you never know.
Just wonder like what Tebow could have been if he just decided to change position.
Taysom Hill,
should have, man.
Which is funny because we're always like with the Lamar stuff, we're like, fuck that, man. Don't let him tell you to change position. That's awesome. You know, he was like, they interviewed him on the Sunday night a couple weeks ago. And he was like, man, I was just shaking my head at people saying that, you know, like I need. But it's like with these other guys, they're like, Tebow, you should have switched. Edelman switched. And look at Edelman had a very good career. You know,
switch. Taysom Hill is taking adjustments. Your total point made. The one point I'll throw out to give Tebow a little credit and support on this side is I am disappointed that we never got to see Tim Tebow get the Russell Wilson or the Lamar Jackson treatment. And what I mean by that is after Josh McDaniel and the Denver Broncos tailored their offense to Tim Tebow's play style, whether Tim Tebow was in a New York Jets uniform or a New England Patriots uniform and rocking their third string quarterback role, they never actually intended him to get action as their quarterback. He was always going to be a specialist or a fluky fill-in. You know, they didn't even intend for him to be a backup quarterback at that point, like not one that was going to get volume. And I do want to see what teams could have done if they did it the way Josh McDaniel did and built this squad to highlight Tebow's strengths. Because what did they do? They won a playoff game against those Steelers when they did. And when we see Taysom Hill have his weird kind of success with the Saints in very custom tailored drawn up plays for him, when we see Russell Wilson have years and years and years of success with an offense, Lamar Jackson doing crazy things this way, it just makes me curious what could have happened. So the one difference is we never got to see him. All we ever saw from him when he ran the show was he won a playoff game. And then we never got to see him with another shot after that. So that does kind of bum me out. And all the metrics are fair and he wasn't good and makes sense of why they didn't. But the one shot they gave him, he did some things. So, but yeah, to your point, then I wish he would have, instead of playing for the Mets, wish he would have tried to become something different. Hey, he did play tight end for the Jaguars.
He tried. Too late, though.
He tried.
Too late. His blocking ability needed some work.
Oh, our boy JJ Katz is back. I'm 3-4. Do I move off Chase or you trade him if anything? Trade him to somebody who's like undefeated or whatever.
Do not release him. Do not release him.
No, I think that might be what he's asking, like to trade him away. I think it's fine to look to trade him, like Austin said, to
if
somebody
you need to win now. Yeah, if you need to win now,
because they haven't. The cool part is they haven't given any. Like it's 4 to 6 weeks is what the specialist came out and said. I haven't heard anything of shutting him down this year. Now that could change, but
yeah, some guys on Twitter who think they're pretty smart, which I mean, there's a lot of smart people on there, but they're like, you know, oh, he's going for a second opinion, you know, not a good sign if you're going for a second opinion. But we also had the reverse of that with Marquise Brown, where it was like, oh, second opinion, that's bad. And then it came down. They were saying indefinitely for Marquise. He got a second opinion, and it actually got a more clarified timeline.
Oh, yeah,
I think the second opinions could be a good thing.
Maybe he has a second opinion. He's not looking for a second opinion to say miss more time.
Yeah. Well, maybe he has Wolverine's blood like Russell Wilson, and he can just like do high knees on the airplanes and stuff.
God, I hope not. Yeah, who should I look for to? Who would you think of on this? Like, or at least like, what kind of caliber of player would you think would be a fair?
I think Chase is going to be great in playoff runs. I wouldn't just give him up for free. It would have to be
like I'm looking for like a 2 to 3 for 1 starters. You know, like if I'm a team that's 3-4, 2-5, like you know, JJ Keats here, you're selling that contender and you're saying like, hey, no, that's Robinson.
God damn.
You're selling that contender on, hey, look, like you got to pay the Chase price for this. Like you're looking to load up for the playoffs. Give me 2 to 3 players in return. You know, as far as names, it's kind of tough because I can't see their rosters, but I think in the caliber I'm looking are like startable RB2s with upside. You know, I don't know if you can. What's that?
Like maybe a Michael Carter and a.
Yeah, I was thinking about that name too, like Carter plus. I'm trying to think because it'd be hard to get the top tier guys. But if you could get like a Fournette, this is obviously post Thursday night, but like a Fournette, a guy that's getting like, I need RB, what wide receiver? I don't need RB, what wide receivers would you recommend? Yeah. I almost want to say Higgins, but like it's tough because Higgins' hype is going to be really high right now with the Chase injury. So you might not be able to pull that off, but Higgins, and something maybe. I would have suggested Debo, but he's missed 2 practices and he has a bye next week, so that one's tough. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe you could buy the dip on Amon-Ra.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
That could be something you could get because Amon-Ra can recoup a lot of Chase value. Like we've seen their bye, we've seen his injuries, and we've seen 2 bad weeks from Goff. But Amon-Ra is a great buy low candidate for me right now.
What do you think about like a Keenan Allen who should be coming back?
Keenan's tough. They're on bye this week. He removed himself from the game last week after putting himself in the game to say, what if I can get Adams also? Oh, I'd love that.
Oh, Adams would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I would love that.
Who cares? Get him.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Yeah. I like a Devontae Smith plus. Maybe Devontae Smith plus an RB2 or something.
It's interesting. even AJ Brown.
AJ Brown plus. Yeah, it'd be really tough to get AJ Brown
because AJ Brown's had a little bit of a he had his blow up, but he's kind of leveled out. So maybe you can buy him. CeeDee Lamb.
Ooh, I like that.
It's interesting as a little bit of a buy low too. If you can pull that off, some of those names.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those are good ones. I like Keats' questions.
3rd and 10 here in the red zone for the Ravens.
Yeah, Tyreek and Waddle would be great.
I mean, yeah, if you can.
Yes, 100%. If you can get those.
Yeah, if you can do those.
You think Ravens will go for this? 4th and 3? 4th and 2?
We'll
have a 2-minute warning to think about it.
Harbaugh doesn't look very happy.
No, his neck is like bulging out there.
I love that he does give Lamar. Go ahead.
He's asking Tyreek or Waddle. I think who do you like?
Oh, Tyreek for sure.
Tyreek 100%, but they're both top 12 wide receivers rest of the season probably.
Cool. I got to give a shout out to Tyreek Hill. Getting to see him move out of Kansas City has allowed him to be the focal point of his own narrative. And Tyreek Hill is a freaking baller, dude. This guy shows up and does not back down. Like, there is not a moment I believe Tyreek Hill would shudder from. And that's not, most guys don't fit into that category. Like, Tyreek gasses up. He goes on random shows and whatnot and gasses up his coach, his quarterback, himself. Like, it takes a lot of confidence, and he is committed to keeping his role in where he's at. I think Tyreek is just a baller, dude. He's a competitor. He's scrappy. He's talented. He's mean. People say all kinds of wild stuff about how good he is. Like, Waddle's really good, but he hasn't shown that he can. He just hasn't. He doesn't have the same reputation yet. He could, but not yet.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill is just an alpha target getter, and he earns those. And I think to your point about showing up, dude, that guy will leave games with injuries and you think he's done, and he comes back in and battles through, and he'll battle through practice reports, play through stuff. And he did that in Kansas City as well. Yeah. Tyreek is amazing.
Dude, this is a silly one, but I thought this was so funny. I think he was on the Jake Paul podcast or something like that. And they asked him hey, what feels better, busting a nut or running a big touchdown? He goes, I ain't going to lie. They both happen quick. And just the fact that he would self-deprecate on that, but just be it happens fast. It gave me even more confidence.
No, it's you're the cheetah, man. You got to be fast everywhere.
And that's
it's just you got to be on brand.
Yes, so. What up, Jimmy? Should I drop Rodgers for Ellinger? I think you could drop Rodgers forever you'd like to stream.
Yeah, I would not stream Ellinger over Rodgers.
But I wouldn't.
I mean,
I would stream other quarterbacks over Rodgers, though. This is a tough matchup.
He was efficient.
Ellinger is a runner.
Yeah, he was efficient in college. He would run for first downs. He wouldn't throw many picks. And Rodgers has been very disappointing this season.
Is Ellinger the type of guy who would go for it? Because Rodgers is not going for shit. Short
I
passes.
think so. He's a young quarterback. I don't know if he's a rookie or a second-year pro. He's young, getting his first opportunity on a Colts team that was supposed to be great and it hasn't looked that great. I think he's going to sling it. I'm pretty high on Pittman this week, honestly. I think he's just going to fucking lob it up to the tall guy and like he's going to get 10+ targets, I think, this week. I'd be excited to, if you're playing for the win, I might start Ellinger over it.
Yeah.
But it's still rough. I feel a little gross saying that, but
4th and 2, they missed it. God dang it.
Dude. Gus is big. Notorious Ravens fan, big mad here. Gus is the best running back on our roster, and we aren't even playing him. Fire Harbaugh.
Fire Harbaugh?
Oof, that's
I don't
rough.
know about that.
Thoughts on Mike Evans or Godwin rest of season? I mean, are you asking for that trade? Like, would you trade who was he trading away again? Now I forget.
Chase,
yeah. I mean, I would probably, in your scenario, I would probably take Evans over Godwin. But I would like Godwin plus. You know, I wouldn't mind that if you went and got Godwin in a package deal. But Mike Evans and plus too is something you could even ask for with Chase. And on those two, rest of season, I'm taking Evans over Godwin.
Me too. Should I do Hopkins and Henderson for Dalvin and Robert Woods? I already have Pittman, AJ Brown, and Amari. Should he do Hopkins and Henderson for Dalvin Cook and Robert Woods?
Can you trade Pittman? I wouldn't be trading Hopkins.
No, yeah, Hopkins is one of my favorite wide receivers.
Or even Amari. If you could trade Amari, dude, even if you could do Amari, Pittman, and Henderson and get Dalvin Cook back, and then you could keep AJ Brown and Hopkins. I mean, I wouldn't want to go that crazy, but like that's where I'm at with it. Hopkins showed me enough on Thursday night, and that team has showed me that they're starving for him back.
Yeah,
that Hopkins is going to eat.
Is even if it's just these options, I'm not disagreeing with the substitute wide receivers either one of you mentioned, but if those are unavailable and it's Hopkins and Henderson for Dalvin Cook and Robert Woods, are we concerned about Dalvin Cook's shoulder and this offense enough to fade it for DeAndre Hopkins?
Interesting too. They're off the bye this week. I'd really like to see. They started to uptick Cook a little bit before their bye though, so it's kind of like, okay, maybe he's a little bit decent. Like, do we like Hopkins and Henderson for Dalvin?
No,
I don't know.
Hopkins
I don't think I like that.
Fire rest of the season. Henderson is he's going to be the starter. I don't think they have trust in Akers. They want to trade him. He's hurt. They like their rookie, but I would try Amari and Henderson and something for just Dalvin, maybe.
Ooh, what a nice catch by Mike Evans.
Between
triple
three
coverage.
people.
Yeah.
See, D-Hop is on fire. D-Hop had an explosion in his first game back.
I don't mind selling high on D-Hop. I think this is probably peak value for D-Hop coming back into that game and doing what he did. I'm not in a hurry to sell D-Hop either. Like, I think that he's going to be a nice piece for a lot of teams. But it is kind of like Fournette just backed into the ground. Oh, my God, dude. That was awesome. I'm sad you guys missed that. He caught a pass and then kind of fell down into the ground, backed into it
right now. Is they doing him again?
He was trying to do it again right there.
I'm surprised that wasn't roughing the passer. It's Tom Brady, man.
Oh, yeah.
He touched him in that field.
Some more names here from Keats: Hopkins, Lamb, or Waddle. Yeah, I like all of these ones for Chase. That's fine.
Yeah, try to do plus.
Yeah.
I would definitely not just want to take the 1-for-1, but try to do plus. Again, the job here is to remind people of what Chase did down the stretch, last year and what he was starting to do and be like, hey, I'm not just going to sell him because I'm scared of if you want him, you're going to have to pay. I
think that's a good line to hold. And the thing here too is Chase had this hip issue coming into last week. And it was so bad, it then knocked him out of the game and he fell down. He did come back and now he saw a specialist and now he's going to miss over a month. But he had this hip issue coming into the game in a game where he came out with over 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. So with this hip issue and the worst it's been so far, he put up top 3 numbers that week still. So if he gets out and actually does recover a little bit him coming back in 6 weeks, you're feeling really good about him coming back.
Oh, Brady
Ooh.
faked going deep and got sacked hard.
Again. Did you guys see that stat? Most sacks in NFL history? Big Ben played a lot less seasons than Brady, but Brady just broke the record with that last one right there.
Wow. Higgins season, I mean, we like it, but we talked a little bit about this before. We like what all the receivers can do when this whole offense is humming. Still like Higgins, like Boyd, like Joe Burrow a little less, but still do.
If they go more conservative, though, I'll think it's Higgins season. Like if they tone it down in the pass rate, because right now their pass rate over expected is through the roof, and that's with chasing the lineup. If they come back and they like feed Mixon again, like they did beginning of last year, I mean that's going to open up a lot for Higgins down the field because he'll be like their play action deep threat that's going to be chunking up yardage. So that's when I would feel a little bit more uptick on that. This is an interesting take here. Call me crazy. I'm high on Pittman with Matt Ryan being benched and Ellinger, and I'm expecting D-Hop's production to go down a bit after a big game, more defense to stop him. You think Pittman will be better with Ellinger?
I don't know if he'll be better, but I think Ellinger is going to feed the tall man the ball. It's his first game. He wants to look great. Pittman 6'4", 6'5", fantastic catch radius. I think he'll get at least 10 targets this week.
Get scared with a rookie QB, but we'll see what happens there.
I'm excited to see what Ellinger does coming in. He's got some chops to him. I picked him up in our Dynasty League at record just because, like, let's go.
Maybe, yeah. Why not, right?
I
hate the Texas Longhorns, but he's not there anymore. So,
what's the Colts record right now? Because the whole division is bad. Right?
3-3-1.
So they've got a 500 record, and they're going away from an MVP to give their rookie a shot. Like, this isn't a lost season. What are they doing?
I mean, Matt Ryan's looked like
Matt Ryan is like decaying in front of it.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Jim Irsay was like, we can't watch this anymore. They've dropped big games to the division, and he basically strong-armed the coaching staff and was like, we're going to go to the rookie. And then it was like, okay, there's a grade 2 sprain for Matt Ryan. And then they were like, he would have been benched anyways. Like, they were doing no favors to Matt Ryan in the press.
That's true.
They were like,
the Falcons.
This gives me big Miami vibes of last year when we saw Ryan Fitzpatrick doing all right, and then they benched him for Tua. And it was like, yo, you guys are like above 500. You're contending, winning games. And it was like, yeah, but we need to see what we've got here so we know what kind of decisions we need to make in the offseason. And the more we talk through it, I'm actually in on that line of thinking because they've done this dance already. They did it with Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and now Matt Ryan. They can't do this. They can't do this show anymore. They got to go and see if they've got talent here, and if not, get into that class next year.
You know, in their
they got him. The goose.
What happened last year, dude? Carson Wentz. This is a similar situation. All they needed to do was beat the Jaguars of Jacksonville in the last week of the season, a downtrodden Urban Meyer previously led team with now an interim head coach and a rookie quarterback, and they couldn't do that.
Yeah,
and I see those same freaking vibes coming from the same Indianapolis Colts team again.
Come on, Bateman.
Wow.
To add on to that point, they have Nick Foles. So they could have started Nick Foles. You've seen, I mean, he knows what Nick Foles is, but they said, no, let's try this rookie out. Or is he a rookie or is he a 1-year pro?
Ellinger, I don't know.
He's one of the two.
I assumed he was a rookie.
Yeah, so they're giving the young guy the chance. They think they still can win this season, so why not rip it out? And I think it's a pretty good pickup at Dynasty.
I think
because he could.
Because he can run a little bit, right? And he's got a arm, big arm.
And he doesn't make too many mistakes. I don't think he threw more than 10 picks. Don't quote me on this, but I don't think he threw more than 10 picks this season at Texas.
You're saying we have a faster, more accurate Josh Allen coming in?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hell no.
Yes.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
You heard it here first from Donnie.
Donnie thinks Allen is a faster, more accurate Josh Allen. You heard it first here, Whisper Nation. He's in on it.
Stop it. Logging off.
He's putting his PFF ID number on the line for this.
No. I hope no one from PFF is watching this. Please don't fire me.
That's good.
That's funny.
Oh, they're tracking Justin Tucker 71-yard field goals and warm-ups. I'd love to see a 70-yarder.
Bro.
Also, would Tolton count that as 7?
I mean, I saw.
I thought that anything over 60 is. I don't. Go ahead.
It should. It messed up. I know at least like 2 years ago, there was a little bit of a glitch. It seemed. I don't know if it was general or if it was just in our league or what happened, but it was like somebody kicked a 62-yarder or something like that, and I think they ended up giving it like 5.2 points. Like it didn't have sixes in there.
I'm really interested to see what this is. Well, how long is this though? It's not a 70-yarder, is it?
He has the all-time record, right?
60 something, I think.
Yeah, he didn't he get it last year against the Detroit?
Yeah.
61. This is a 61-yarder. Damn, I wanted 70.
Let's go Dynasty League. Give me some. Actually, be really great. This would be fucking awesome. Let's go Dynasty League. Let's go.
This is for Austin right here. Bam.
Oh, they blocked it.
God damn.
They knuckleballed it. Well, that's it. It has been a slop fest after starting very fast. We thought, okay, it's going to be good. It is slop fest galore. 13 points in the
every
first half.
Thursday.
This has been great and awesome with you. We'll see how are we doing on the bet subs.
Good question, man.
Not great. Andrews is out.
The
field goals for we need.
I had just forgotten it too. God damn it. So Andrews is out, and my demise in multiple leagues continues. Austin, you'll be back with us tomorrow with the News and Nuggets show, going through kind of the injury roundup. Is that right? 5:30 or 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern.
That's right. All right. Join me.
Join me. Donnie, any last words for Whisper Nation here before we sign off and hit them with the outro?
Stay positive. The second half is going to be so much better. 30 points on both sides. It's going to be great. Mark Andrews is going to come back in the game. He's going to get 8 more receptions. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Austin, any final words for Whisper Nation?
You know what? I'm not going to say stay positive. I'm going to say stay. Well, no. It's like just keep digging to find beauty. That's where we're at right now. Keep digging to find beauty. And sometimes that means digging past your preferences. It means finding a greater lesson in the adversity than you originally signed up for. But fantasy football teaches you more about life than Sunday school, in my opinion. And if you just stay in it with it, there's some really grand, relatable lessons found all the time. You celebrate or you learn. That's the two experiences in life. And God, there's so much learning in fantasy football. So we're going to keep learning.
Keep learning. It's been great. It's been fun, even through the muck with you, Whisper Nation. As always, you've been great. We've got Scott, Ron, Panda XV, Jay Keats, Andre, awesome. All of our guys, Don, Randy Miller, Nemo Ladies, all the crew in here, Albert, George. Thank you all so much for being in here. For Donnie Tubbs, for Austin Sear, I'm Big Travie, and we're the Fantasy Whispers. We will be back with you Friday, as we said. Peace.
Bye.
Right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome